points. Inter are now the nearest challengers, but it's almost becoming a procession for the Azzurri. 33 years on from their previous Scudetto, and they are on course to win it in style. There's still a long way to go. They still have to negotiate hurdles such as these. But they start tonight as massive favourites once again. On the ground where Milan won last season's Scudetto, are we about to watch the champions-elect? Napoli's lead now stands at a whopping 15 points ahead of a game against the Sassuolo side. They smashed 4-0 in the reverse fixture. The Neroverdi have, however, defeated Milan and Atalanta in recent weeks. Round 23 of Serie A begins on this Friday night in Reggio Emilia, and it starts here with Sassuolo against Napoli. A very important initiative to flag up ahead of this weekend's round of action. The players all wearing that red lipstick on their cheeks. A reminder of the campaign Show Violence the Red Card, a campaign against domestic violence against women. And Luciano Spalletti is the milestone man tonight, his 1,000th game of his illustrious coaching career. It was 9-9-9 against Cremonese, and now 4 figures for the Tuscan. Andrea Consigli, the Sassuolo skipper, the man trying to keep Napoli out tonight. He's the Neroverdi goalkeeper. Giovanni Di Lorenzo plays week in, week out, and it's a relatively new official on the circuit tonight, Andrea Colombo, joined there by Daniele Orsato on the right of your picture, a very steady, experienced pair of hands. And in our VAR room up at the IBC in Lisone, we have Daniele Doveri, keeping a very close eye on anything untoward that might go on. There is a ban on away supporters from the Campania region where Naples is the capital, but they have come here in their droves, the supporters of the Azzurri, the Neapolitan diaspora turning up and stepping out once again. A reported 8,000 inside tonight. The team spirit is at an all-time high, and they are on course to shatter records too, if they can keep winning week in, week out. But the likes of Lorienté and Sassuolo have caused upsets before, and in recent times as well. Can they reproduce the display they showed at San Siro when they beat Milan by 5-2? Napoli's winning run, Napoli's form is so relentless that they've even managed to defeat good old Neapolitan superstition. We're up and running at the Mappe as Napoli look to cross off another victory en route to a first Scudetto in 33 years. Massimo, what does Sassuolo have to do tonight to even stand a chance of taking points off the league leaders?
They have to try to play with a high rhythm and create pressure on the Napoli men that have the ball, but you know, it's not so easy because Napoli is very confident. It's not so easy to press them very high, but this is what Sassuolo have tried to do. Try to press them, try to find the right position on the pitch, and after that play their game. They are young, they can do everything, but you know, on the other side they have a great team that is very confident, as I say, so it's not so easy to play against them.
Cut out there by Elic. Alessio Dionisi did speak to the media yesterday, unlike Luciano Spalletti. Dionisi has called on his side to be a little bit arrogant, to have a swagger, to believe that they can beat Napoli. Two teams that like to monopolise possession. Coming back to Neapolitan superstition, tonight is Venerdì 17, Friday the 17th, which is the Italian equivalent of Friday the 13th. Perhaps in previous seasons that might have caused some discomfort, sent some shivers down the spines of Napoli supporters. Not so this term. The word Scudetto used to be taboo, no longer. And Luciano Spalletti now has people in the city of Naples, Massimo, who are already getting tattoos of the Scudetto with the number 3 in the middle. Is it a bit premature?
I don't know if it's a little bit premature, but I think that numbers are on Napoli's side. I think that's, you know, the other teams, especially not just number, but I didn't see the other teams, Milan, Inter, Roma, Lazio, or Atalanta. Juventus, of course, have been penalized of 15 points, but I didn't see any team that can compare with the Napoli at the moment until now, you know. So it's not just Napoli, but it's the other team that can do, you know, a miracle from now until the end of the season.
A perfect storm between Napoli's relentless winning form and the other side's inability to keep pace with them. Politano, dealt with by Ruan, not particularly convincingly, won by Oliveira. This is the league's top scorer, Victor Osimhen. Has found Politano. Now it's Zombonguisa. Cut out easily by Maxime Lopez. But no one there to help him, so he's forced to play it into touch. Napoli trying to box Sassuolo in here in the early stages. Di Lorenzo. Politano. Was he blocked off by Rogerio? It's a goal kick.
It's a 4-3-3 against the 4-3-3, so same players, that all the couples of players inside the pitch have to play 1 against 1. So it will be Rogerio have to take care about Politano on his side, and on the other side is Dortea that have to take care about Kvaratskhelia. Not so easy. The two players in front, in the middle, it means Ruan and Erlich have to take care about Osimhen. But as I said, not so easy for Sassuolo. They have to stay concentrated. In the first minutes especially, they have to stay on the pitch, try to find a solution, and maybe create some problems to Napoli.
They certainly caused problems for Milan with that 5-2 win at San Siro. They followed that up with 1-0 victory here over Atalanta, who've also been going well. A solitary goal from Armand Lorienté, and that's really given Sassuolo's flagging fortunes a boost. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia with the strength as well as the skill. Still Kvaratskhelia. In it comes from Elmas, dealt with by Elic, and then Fratesi. But Sassuolo can't get hold of the ball. De Frel not conventional centre-forward. Lobotka. Rogerio's header clear. Now it's Lorienté, one of the most exciting prospects in Serie A.
Dionisi asked to Laurentier, vieni, because Laurentier just tried to stay just a little bit up, but they need to defend all together.
Elmas. Surging inside. Now it's Zombonguisa. Back for Lobotka. Rahmani. Politano, chance to drive at Rogerio. Politano can deliver. Too close to Consigli. It's very helpful having you translate Dionisi's instructions, Massimo Paganin. Actually, off air before this game, Massimo told me that he used to interpret for Roy Hodgson when he was at Inter. I'm sorry I've revealed a trade secret there, Massimo, but I found that fascinating. Here's Kvaratskhelia, cut out by Zortea, helped out by Ruan, but Sassuolo haven't got it clear. Rahmani, Politano.
Right position and right distance for Napoli in the pitch. It's not so easy to try to press them because they are always in a good position. And as we can see, Sassuolo try to remain in their half because they don't want to concede it to Napoli to attack the space in behind part of the defense line. So they are trying to stay safe, Sassuolo, at the moment, not concede it too much to Napoli.
More mature display this from Sassuolo, perhaps, as Rahmani seeks out Di Lorenzo, the fullback playing in that inside channel. We're seeing that a lot in modern football.
Yes, in modern football, especially in teams that would like to attack the space in that situation. If the wing is play with his feet on the line, the sideline, the fullback underlap, inside, and is very important. But it's important the confidence that have Napoli in when they're doing this piece of play.
Maxime Lopez. Now Bayrami, one of the new signings. Here's another one, Zortea. No foul on Zortea. Kvaratskhelia looking for Osimhen, but Elic and Ruan making sure that the league's top scorer didn't latch onto that. Was this a foul by either Elmas or Kvaratskhelia? I'm not sure it was.
No, it wasn't a foul, but Zortea is a left foot, so he have to drive the ball inside. He can't cover the ball because he drives the ball with his left foot inside, and in that situation can be very dangerous because Napoli can have a break.
Rahmani, Di Lorenzo, cut out by Ruan, Loriente for Rogerio. Sassuolo trying to build out from the back, and Napoli have forced the mistake. Politano pressing. Ruan's inclusion in the team, though, has coincided with Sassuolo's upturn in fortunes. It's a fourth straight start for him now. Ferrari with too many costly mistakes, the club captain, so Ruan has pinched his spot at centre-back. Ferrari scored in this fixture last season. It was a 2-2 draw, had a bit of everything that game. Napoli led by 2-0. Sassuolo scored twice, including a late equaliser from Ferrari. They had the ball in the net for 3-2, but it was disallowed. De Frel thought he'd won it. Berardi, though, had fouled Rahmani in the build-up. Here is the Kosovo captain. Politano, away goes Osimhen. It's come off Ruan. Politano couldn't get there. Fratesi helping out Rogerio. Now it's Matteo Serricchi. On for Fratesi. Sassuolo in transition. This is Bayrami. Well in by Oliveira, but Bayrami has regained possession. First foray forward for the home side. Maxime Lopez. Matteo Serricchi. Maxime Lopez again. There was Osimhen tracking back. And we've seen that recently. It was Lozano making sure Vasquez didn't score for Cremonese. And now Osimhen helping out defensively.
That's what Spalletti asked to his player, but we saw a lot of time Politano on the side, Lozano if he played on the other side, Kvaratskhelia. The attacking players are the first defender, so it's very important. And they lead by example in this situation. Osimhen, he did very well. You know, when a team won, it's not because they are lucky, but because they work all together. That's very important. Sassuolo have a problem on the right side because Bayrami is playing not in a comfortable position for him, because he used to play as a number 10 behind the centre forward when he played for Empoli.
Kim has lost possession. Lorienté for Maxime Lopez, and now Rogerio getting forward. This time it was Politano tracking back. Zombonguisa. Bayrami having to do a job in the absence of Mimmo Berardi, Sassuolo's star player, who was injured in their 2-2 draw at Udinese last weekend. We should be in for goals tonight if the last 4 meetings are a good gauge of what to expect. 21 goals in those 4 matches, not exactly evenly divided. Napoli with 15 of them to Sassuolo's half a dozen. Oliveira, Kvaratskhelia, clever touch, still Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, he's in the mood again, Kvaratskhelia! In a season of great goals from him, that might be the best one we've seen yet. A scorer on his birthday against Cremonese. It's a solo stunner from the magician, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia.
And they started well, perfectly. Maybe, you know, the defender just run back too much. Someone have to come up and try to stop Kvaratskhelia. You will see again, he will see the ball in the middle, perfect skill there, and Lorienté arrived there, just one against him, and he did perfectly in between the legs. He find the near post. Absolutely fantastic, this goal. Absolutely fantastic, the space that he created for himself, and the shot that he had finally.
Whether you call him Kvaratskhelia, Kvaravaggio, Kvaradonna, he is just a joy to watch. His first season in Italy, he is making everyone stand up and take notice, not just in this country. Now Lorienté as Sassuolo look to respond, and they very nearly did. Lorienté wrong-footing the net, and only the frame of the goal keeps Napoli's lead intact.
He did the same as Kvaratskhelia, a long ball he controlled perfectly, attacked Di Lorenzo that couldn't stop him, and just about denied the goal.
Sortea with the pace. This is quite the response from Sassuolo, not lying down but reacting, and they were so close to finding the leveller.
Yeah, just unlucky in that situation, because he did perfectly. He will see again, maybe could be a foul this one, you know, because he finds the space, but perfect. He did the same, be in between the legs, in the near post. Nothing to do for Meret in that situation, but just a little bit unlucky, and still 1-0 for Napoli.
Kvaratskhelia now has a dozen goals in Napoli colours, double figures in the league for him. He's on 9 assists as well, so he could very shortly have what the Americans would call a double-double. Could go into double figures for both goals and assists in his debut Serie A campaign. It's the 17th of February. Do you remember a new signing, particularly from a less renowned footballing location such as Georgia? Do you remember a player having as big an impact as the Georgian has?
No, no way, because he did a fantastic things, you know, until now.
Speaking of fantastic things, what a piece of skill from Elmas. Here's Kvaratskhelia again. Kvaratskhelia trying to turn provider this time. Used the run of Oliveira to create space for the cross. He's kept his balance and kept the ball. Zombonguisa. Osimhen wants it in the middle, the cross doesn't come.
Yes, as we can see, Napoli just try to, you know, keep the ball possession as they used to do. Also, Sassuolo used to do that. He's one of the teams that have more ball possession, but you know, it's until now it seems that Napoli is unstoppable. They used to play the ball like that. They always find the space. They always find the man in between the lines. So it's not so easy. I understand that for Sassuolo it's not so easy, but they have to take confidence, you know, from that situation where Laurentier took the post, because they have to believe in themselves that they can do it.
Kvaratskhelia dropping the shoulder, getting away from Zortea. Still Kvaratskhelia, away by Rouen, but only as far as Zombonguissa. Di Lorenzo now. Politano takes over. Zombonguissa. We should not be surprised that Sassuolo have conceded. This is their 20th top-flight meeting against Napoli. They've only ever kept one clean sheet against the Azzurri. Rahmani. Di Lorenzo. Osimhen's coming across to make life awkward for Rogerio, so he had to deal with it. Flag goes up for offside.
Yes, I think so. Osimhen asked, it was me.
The perfect alchemy in this Napoli side at the moment.
Yes, it was him. Because he ran to the ball, and that's why it was offside of Osimhen.
It's going to be a very difficult decision when it comes to choosing the MVP for Serie A if Napoli do win the Scudetto. As things stand, would you go for Kvaratskhelia or Osimhen?
I don't know. Kvaratskhelia scored 9 goals and 9 assists. You know, he will arrive a double-double. You say double-double? Yes, of course. And on the other side, but you have a man that is Osimhen, that did fantastic things, and he's the man for Napoli until now.
Oliveira trying to let it run for the main man. Instead, it's just a corner for Napoli. We've seen them make good use of these recently, including against Cremonese when Di Lorenzo's near post flick found Kim, who put it back in for a tap-in for Osimhen. He's trying to keep his goal-scoring streak ongoing. 8 goals in his last 6. Taken short by Kvaratskhelia, but he's given it away to the worst possible man, Laurentier. Defrel racing forward, so too Fratesi. Napoli are short-handed here, and they weren't on the same wavelength there, Laurentier and Fratesi. What an opportunity that was.
It was a perfect counter-attack, you know, counter-attack. And Laurentier have to find out another solution in that situation, because Fratesi running well, but he just run to create space for Laurentier. They have to give the ball on the other side to Defrel, and you have just to wait a little bit more and then give the ball to Defrel in the space.
Here's Osimhen in space. Rahmani trying to feed it through. Rouen has been selected in recent times due to his pace. He's a lot quicker than Ferrari, but not many players can match Osimhen stride for stride. Fratesi, Zortea, who has the unenviable task of trying to keep Kvaratskhelia quiet tonight. Laurentier for Matteus Enrique. Now it's Defrel. Defrel gets a shot away, and I'm not sure Meret had it covered.
Yeah, good piece of play by Sassuolo in this situation. They just moved the ball on the left. Matteus Enrique was on the opposite side, and he received the ball. Good ball inside for Defrel that controlled perfectly and tried to find the back post. A good situation for Sassuolo. They start to believe just a little bit more in themselves.
Massimo, you mentioned it on Napoli's opening goal that Kvaratskhelia shot the ball through the defender's legs. We saw that there from Defrel. I'll ask you this in a moment, because Maxime Lopez has it for Sassuolo. Laurentier. Lobotka there to snuff out the danger. Is that something that strikers deliberately look to do as the defender tries to block it? And as a defender, how do you stop that? Again, answer that question as and when Sassuolo finish this attack. Matteo Serricchi, Fratesi, intercepted by Kvaratskhelia.
Yes, they try to do like that. I have a teammate that was Marco Branca. They used to do like that. Because they know, the goalkeeper do not cover that position because there is the defender in that situation.
Zortea, who'll do well to keep it in play. He's not quite managed to get there.
So there is the defender that cover that space, so the goalkeeper just move away from that space. And that's why the striker used to shot in between the legs, try to surprise the goalkeeper, not give him the timing to arrive on that ball.
We saw Giovanni Carnevali there, who's the CEO of Sassuolo. Did some lucrative business with Napoli last summer for Jack Raspadori. There is talk of Napoli once again coming to Reggio Emilia, seeking out possible reinforcements for next season. Lorienté is one of the names being touted, Fratesi another, and Bairami, despite the fact he's only just made a move from Empoli. We've already witnessed just what a good player Lorienté is tonight. That effort that crashed back off the post. Why is it we see so few players these days who operate like Kvaratskhelia as Rahmani switches it to the Georgian? Kvaratskhelia, Elmas, now it's Oliveira.
It's the quality of a player. You can't, buy something like that. If you have the attitude and the quality to attack in 1-against-1, is something particular that have the single player, not all the players, but you need to have that skills.
Kvaratskhelia looking for Osimhen. Ruan misjudged the jump and he's given it away to Kvaratskhelia. Now it's Elmas breaking forwards. Erlich kept his eye on the ball. And he's found Bairami. Good work again from Sassuolo in transition. Fratesi, Bairami, Matteo Serricchi, Maxime Lopez. They do shift it well once they get moving. Lorienté. Lorienté has found a cross. Oliveira gets it clear. Kvaratskhelia took a chance. There was a foul by Zortea in the view of the referee.
But Kvaratskhelia was there. It's very important, the second ball that come out from the defense line, and he was there. He protected the ball, a good foul received. But all Napoli were very close to defend the result and to defend, the position, the situation. Is very important, as I said to you, the attitude, the mindset that they have inside the pitch.
Kim Min-jae. A reminder, Napoli can go 18 points clear, the equivalent of 6 wins. If they can get maximum points tonight, that would hold at least until Inter play Udinese tomorrow. Zombongisa. A reminder, Napoli are playing on Friday because they're in European action on Tuesday in Frankfurt against the holders of the Europa League, Eintracht. Lobotka, Elmas, showing his versatility tonight. We've seen him come on at left wing, at right wing. Playing on the left side of a three-man midfield this evening, stepping in for Zielinski. Napoli have given it away. Lorienté, who's very direct. So too is Fratesi. Here he is. Rahmani keeping tabs on the Italy man. Politano. Rahmani takes no chances. Osimhen's barely been in the game, but now he has an opportunity. Victor Osimhen going himself and striking the post. A hat-trick in the reverse fixture, and inches away from doubling Napoli's advantage here.
But again, we see how dangerous can be Osimhen when he plays 1 against 1. You see, he missed the ball. Unbelievable, that mistake. But again, 1 against 1, drive the ball inside with his left foot. It's the weaker foot, and just the post denied this goal. He will see again 1 against 1, fantastic by Osimhen. The speed, the control of the ball, and you know how strong he is, how much he wanted the goal.
He's desperate to keep scoring. There have been some optimistic shouts that he might be able to emulate the exploits of Gonzalo Higuain and Ciro Immobile, who both matched Gunnar Nordahl's record of 36 league goals. So much so, I say optimistically, because Osimhen has scored 8 in his last 6. Some people have said if he keeps up that particular goal-scoring rate, you extrapolate that data, you get to 37 goals, it would be a new record. Got 3 of his 17 he's bagged this season when these sides met at the Maradona. It was his first and only Serie A hat-trick to date. Since it won't be his last, he's also closing in on becoming the all-time leading African goal scorer in the Italian top flight.
But Patrick, one can't miss that ball. You know, he can't give an advantage like that to Osimhen. He has to remain maybe behind him and try to control him, not try to anticipate and create a problem to his teammates, because he was 1 against 1 in space.
Clipped forward by Consigli. Now Lobotka. Rahmani, who has rediscovered his best form after a wobble at the start of 2023 on his return from injury. He was at fault for the only goal in the loss at Inter when he didn't pick up Dzeko properly. Now Sassuolo have given the ball again to Osimhen. This time he can run at Rogerio. Spalletti telling him to slow the tempo and start again. Di Lorenzo. Lobotka.
It's 1-2 touches when they have to move the ball, and when there is the opportunity and the space, they run with the ball to the man just to create the space.
Kim. Kvaratskhelia. Oliveira. Osimhen unable to elude Erlich, and Osimhen then ended up tripping Mateus Henrique. Napoli in control, but they have had a couple of scary moments.
Yes, they are in control. They could be, you know, in front with more than one, and you will see again what Osimhen did. Fantastic shot. Maybe he just tried to find the far post with his weaker foot. He couldn't give enough accuracy to that shot. But anyway, great 1 against 1 for him, and as I say, very dangerous when he has the space to attack the defense line.
Reminder, Kvaratskelia's goal on 12 minutes is what separates the two sides. We've played half an hour now in Reggio Emilia. Napoli seeking another goal with Matias Oliveira. This time Zortea was strong. It's a foul by Fratesi, sucked in. Lovely touch from Eli Felmaz, who's now become Napoli's third highest scorer, despite not featuring too much from the start. Politano showed for the return and then changed his mind. Maxime Lopez slightly fortunate. Rogerio. Lorienté, not many players get the better of Di Lorenzo, the man that Kvaratskhelia described as his hardest opponent in training. That's been a good battle between Lorienté and Di Lorenzo.
Very good, absolutely. Great qualities for Lorienté and also great quality for Di Lorenzo, that is doing a fantastic, really fantastic season.
And even when he makes a slip like that, he's able to recover. It's nearly the commentator's curse from Massimo Paganin, cleared away by Rahmani off de Frel. It's just a Napoli throw. There are some Sassuolo supporters here, but they're almost outnumbered by the Napoli fans. To think on the final day of last season when Milan won here by 3-0. There are 18,000 Rossoneri supporters out of 21,000 capacity. Everyone wants to witness history now with this Napoli side. The hottest ticket in every town. Oliveira Court. Rahmani. Osimhen working the channel. Osimhen. He's got a wonderful goal. Scarcely the space to shoot. He has produced a perler. Gaetano and his teammates can't believe it. There seemed to be nothing on. He's caught everyone off guard there, Consigli included. And Napoli have doubled their advantage. Victor Osimhen once again.
I don't know what they're asking for, but anyway, what a goal by Osimhen. Consigli have to do better in that situation, but he will see again 2 against 1, the strength to remain on his feet, and Consigli wasn't on the right position, but anyway, Osimhen did a fantastic thing. Great, and he will see the confidence that he has, 1 against 1. He will see again how strong he is. He remains on his feet, and anyway, just a little bit lucky because Consigli, as I said, have to do better, but he did a great job here, and he deserved to score a goal.
Always on the move, seemingly forever on the score sheet. Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen, Napoli's dynamic duo, making all the headlines again. And that dream in the Napoli supporters' heart is very quickly becoming a reality. The league's 2 standout players both play for the same club. Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen, it's them again. Matteo Zerricchi shifting it on for Lorienté. Still Lorienté. He's been a thorn in Napoli's side, and had someone attack the back post, Sassuolo might have scored.
Yeah, it's a good piece of play, this one. No one attacked the back post. The 4 players remained just behind the line of the ball. They didn't attack the space, and that's why the ball goes away. But anyway, when is your season?
Certainly Osimhen's season. Now it's Elmas. He thought Osimhen was going to continue his progress, but it's following the same script as Cremonese. It was Kvaratskhelia with the opener, Osimhen with the second. If it's anything like that game against the Grigio Rossi, then the third will be scored by Elmas tonight.
Yes, maybe, but when I say when is your season, you can score a goal like that. When Osimhen, received the ball and attacked the space, and then he scored the goal.
Here's Osimhen again. He was onside, and the effort is wayward for once.
Yeah, too much Napoli until now for this Sassuolo. It's true that Sassuolo took a post, but you know, Napoli is doing very well. It seems that it's so easy for them to arrive to shoot on goal.
Before tonight, Sassuolo had scored the same number of goals, 26, as Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia put together. Napoli's pair now have 2 more than the Nero Verdi all told. Oliveira, Kvaratskhelia. Oliveira beaten to it by Bayrami, who's now lost it to Kvaratskhelia. This is ominous. Kvaratskelia's cross, and Osimhen couldn't quite get high enough.
Again, too easy for them. They recovered that, but what a cross inside the box by Kvaratskhelia. You know, unbelievable. And in this situation, Ruan did very well, because he arrived there. He couldn't give the opportunity to jump, you know, to Osimhen that arrived on that ball. But anyway, against too much Napoli until now for Sassuolo.
Sassuolo in danger of capitulating. I've seen them come apart before. It will be concerning now for Alessio Dionisi, because their last 2 matches against Napoli have ended in heavy defeats. Kvaratskhelia and Elmas with a heavy touch. Otherwise, it would have been that script. (4-0) in the reverse fixture. 6-1 last season at the Maradona. It does appear it's going to be one of those evenings again, Massimo, and it's almost a rout on the cards.
Yes, but Napoli is doing very well. They want it, you know, they really want to win this match. They really want to win as much as they can. You can feel it, you can see on the pitch. They really impressed me, because, you know, there is the quality of the team, but also the stamina, the strength. They want to win, and it's not easy for the opponents.
Sassuolo have now gone back into their shell. They look a little jittery in possession, wary of Napoli's ferocious press. Still 7 minutes to play until the interval. The result already looks beyond doubt. Typically you wouldn't say that at 2-0, but given what we're seeing with this Napoli side, it's a fair assumption to make at this stage of the game. Gone well by Kim, who is the only Napoli player who's in the diffidati column. 4 yellow cards to his name, so with the next caution he would be suspended. Spalletti has no qualms with picking him, presumably on the basis that if he's managed this many league matches with only 4 cautions so far, he's a fairly tidy player. Matteo Serricchi, Lorienté, chance to run at Di Lorenzo. Lorienté, Rogerio with the cutback. There was Lobotka to sweep it clear. This time, Rouen didn't misjudge the bounce. De Frel comes short. Maxime Lopez. Bayrami. Sortea getting forward from fullback. Zombongisa. Napoli have lost it. Matteo Serricchi. Lorienté. De Frel. Fratesi's ball through, and Lorienté has scored. Sassuolo right back in it. It is their discovery this season. He continues to find the net against the big boys. On target against Milan, scored against Atalanta, and he fires in this goal against the league leaders.
Just a little bit lucky at the start, but then he attacked the space perfectly, and that ball inside by Fratesi was absolutely brilliant. What a goal by Sassuolo. I said that there were too much Napoli for Sassuolo, but they did well. They believed that he can do it, and now they score a goal. Maybe Oliveira just slept here. He wasn't in a perfect position, but anyway, a good goal for Sassuolo, and now we have a match.
Game on in Reggio Emilia. Spalletti asking his players to stay switched on and focused. But Armand Lorientais having a brilliant campaign. Checking that the goal is all above board. Something resembling redemption for Lorientais, who was dismissed in the reverse fixture. Picked up 2 yellow cards in 8 minutes. Alessio Dionisi wondering why on earth this is being checked in the first place. Possible offside is the rationale. And the referee is going across to have a look, Massimo. Clear this one up for us.
Yes, I don't know. We are just wait and see who was in the middle, in between. Here we see again Defrel, in between. Maybe Defrel touched that ball. I don't know. Or maybe he was just disturbing the he was again, maybe just disturb Oliveira. But in my opinion, it can't be offside, this one, you know.
Defrel came back from an offside position in front of Oliveira into his eye line, but Oliveira just has to clear that ball. All eyes now on Andrea Colombo, who decides the goal doesn't stand, it's offside, and I have Massimo Paganini alongside me, who doesn't necessarily agree with the decision.
No, because Defrel just stopped in his position. He didn't move from his position. So in my opinion, it wasn't offside, that one. But, you know, referee think that he interfered with Oliveira. But in my opinion, he was just stopped in his position. You know, he will see again, he didn't do nothing. Unlucky, really unlucky here at Sassuolo, because they did a great goal.
The players' reaction is always a very good gauge. There wasn't a single Napoli player that looked to the assistant and asked for offside or interfering with play. Now a yellow card has been brandished for Lorientais to add insult to injury. But we mentioned it before, you said it about Osimhen, when things are going your way, they really are, and that's the case. Lorientais is going to miss the next match at Lecce through suspension. But Napoli scoring out of nowhere with Osimhen, and also getting a reprieve thanks to the video assistant referee. Lorientais, one of 2 players who was under the threat of suspension, were they to pick up a yellow card. The other one is Rouen, starting tonight. 2 minutes to play until the break. Goals from them 2 again. One of the great duos. Heard them compared gastronomically to salsicce fiarelli, creme amarena. Pick your favourite, savoury or sweet. In it comes from Politano, headed away by Erlich. Lobotka seizing the initiative. Now it's Kvaratskhelia looking for Osimhen. Cleared only as far as Elmas. Politano with a pirouette. Consigli nearly lost it there. He's able to gather. Bairami, boxed in by Oliveira. Kvaratskhelia, he was in such a hurry that not even Osimhen had made the run in time.
Yeah, he did well, because the break there, and immediately heads up, try to find in the space Osimhen that attack immediately, leave immediately an opportunity to his teammate to get the ball.
Lorientais was trapped well by Lobotka. Sassuolo still have it. Maxime Lopez. Should be at least a couple of minutes of added time after that stoppage to review the goal and ultimately rule it out. Indeed, 120 seconds of additional time to come here. And Sassuolo will feel slightly hard done by. They've hit the post, then again so too did Napoli through Osimhen. They had the ball in the net, but the goal from Lorientais didn't stand. Milan's clearance wasn't the best. Napoli have it with Zombon-Guissar. Matteo Enrique had a couple of swings at him there. Credit to the Napoli midfielder for not reacting. Here's confirmation courtesy of semi-automatic offside that there, De Frel was the wrong side of Oliveira. And he certainly interfered with play by stepping in front of the Napoli left-back. And that perhaps just knocked Oliveira off his stride, prevented him from clearing it, and allowed Loriente to score. Kvaratskhelia. Still Kvaratskhelia. Back it goes for Zombon-Guissar. Politano stretching the pitch. Di Lorenzo. Politano. Here's the Napoli skipper again. Silly challenge by Maxime Lopez. There will just be time for Napoli to take one last free kick in this first half. Consigli's already had to pick the ball out of the net twice. He was beaten as well by that Osimhen effort off the post. He might be busy for one last time in the opening 45 minutes here. Swung in by Elmas. Osimhen's header. This time it's straight down the throat of Consigli. Still time for Sassuolo to try and catch out Lobotka. Loriente. He was fouled. But the referee, I believe, has called time on the first half. Just in the nick of time as well for Napoli. Kvaratskhelia with a wonderful individual goal to get Napoli up and running. And then Osimhen again just after the half-hour mark. Napoli in complete control at the Mapei. Half-time score, Sassuolo 0, Napoli 2.
Io sono nato, Ok. Capo, grazie. Capo. Dammi un pallone per piacere. Dai. Andiamo, forza.
Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen. Doesn't seem to be a Napoli game that goes by without them leaving their mark on the score sheet. Loriente thought he'd done likewise, but his goal was ruled out for offside against Grégoire de Frel. Osimhen, the league's top scorer, has taken his tally to 18. Kvaratskhelia now into double figures. Napoli 2 goals to the good, and they are in the mood to score even more, trying to warm up in the best possible fashion for their return to European action on Tuesday in Germany. Fresh off the back of 5 wins and 1 defeat in the group stage. So far tonight, Napoli have sprinkled a little more stardust on this fairy tale season in the making. Sassuolo have 45 minutes to try and repel Napoli and to try and somehow force their way back into the contest. Massimo Paganini, what's the first thing they have to do?
I think that in the dressing room they speak that about they can do it. You know, they scored 1 goal, Sassuolo, I mean, and they can do it again. We have just wait and see. Of course, as I said, Napoli on the other side played an excellent game, very good game. But Sassuolo don't stop to believe, and what they have to do. You know, football is football. Sometimes one episode can change the match.
Fratesi, dealt with by Oliveira. And lest we forget, in this fixture on this ground last season, Napoli were 2-0 up. They only came away with a 2-2 draw, so we've seen it happen before. That was a very different Napoli side. Had several senior players. Fabian Ruiz, Koulibaly, Insigne, Mertens. In fact, Fabian and Mertens both scored. Osimhen turned into Maxime Lopez. Kim has found Zombon-Guissa. Big cry there of bravo Frank came from Spalletti. Well done to his number 99. Kim Min-jae. Kvaratskhelia ducking away from Bayrami.
There were Spalletti that were asking for the change position to Oliveira to goes up and to Kvaratskhelia to come to receive that ball. You know, they changed their position on the left side.
Now Kvaratskhelia's gone down in a bit of pain, but he's very quickly back to his feet. That would have been one of the scariest moments for Napoli supporters tonight, on an evening when Sassuolo have had the ball in the net and struck the post, but they won't want anything untoward to befall their star player on the left wing. Rahmani, Di Lorenzo, Politano round the corner. Zombon-Guissa. Lobotka. Kvaratskhelia. Elmas. Back for Kvaratskhelia. Still no cross. Kvaratskhelia goes for goal. Was blocked by Zortea, who made himself big. Rahmani with the switch. Kvaratskhelia. Now it's Oliveira. Still Oliveira. It's given away. Straight back to him. Kvaratskhelia getting half a yard. And this is Di Lorenzo. Napoli asking for the corner, but every time he gets the ball, he makes something happen.
Yes, it's really impressing how confident they are. You know, they arrive there in an easily way all the time. When they have the ball, they always arrive to shot on goal. Or they create problems to the opponent. It's not so easy for Sassuolo. As I said, Napoli is too much.
Tanta roba, as they say in this part of the world. Kvaratskhelia curls in the corner, and Rahmani didn't connect. That was half a chance.
Yeah, it was a chance. Rahmani just tried to head that ball too early. Just turned his head too early, and the ball just bound, you know, on the side and goes out.
Kvaratskhelia feeding it through for Osimhen, and somehow he's poked it wide.
Sometimes happen, but again Napoli here again pressing very high. It wasn't offside, and maybe he was just a little bit in a hurry. You have just to thinking about a little bit more. He just tried to touch that ball. He flicked that ball over Consigli, but again another chance for Napoli. He would see Spalletti. He couldn't believe that.
Spalletti knows what a brilliant team he has on his hands. He knows just what two world-class individuals he boasts in this team as well. Here's one of them, Kvaratskhelia, with more of that flair. His agent did come out this week, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, his representative Mamuka Yukheli, who said there's only one club for him in Italy, and that's Napoli. Elic needs to be careful. And Napoli have won another corner.
But Osimhen always give a solution. You know, that ball, it seems that he was missed. A very bad ball, but he arrived anyway and create problems to the defender that have to think about that.
In the end, the ball caught the corner flag and went out for a throw, but Oliveira trying to find Zombonguissa, cleared away hurriedly by Elic. Kim wins the header. Oliveira, Zombonguissa. They always look for Kvaratskhelia. Osimhen demanding it in the middle.
When you play so low, very close to your box, as Sassuolo did.
Lobotka, well found by Rahmani. Osimhen again. That's a really good save from Consigli.
And another time, Osimhen attacked that space just behind the central defender, in between the two central defender, and he arrived there. You know, he attacked the space, and it's not easy for Erlich to follow him and try to stop him.
Andrea Colombo just stops proceedings to have a quick word with Osimhen. Matthias Enrique, De Frel there too. Politano sends in the corner, away by Rami. And now Lorienté has got there ahead of Elmas. They're streaming forward in support. Lorienté, that's going to be a yellow card for Elmas, and one he readily accepts.
Yes, well, a clever foul, this one, you know, and because he understands that could be a dangerous situation. A foul, he spent that foul, a yellow card, no problem. All the other players will come back behind the ball, and Napoli do not risk anything.
Lorienté, too quick for Politano. This time Elmas is there to clear it. Maxime Lopez, straight to Politano, who had more time than he realised. Came off the chest of Lobotka. Good vision to release Zombonguisa. Maxime Lopez stayed on his feet. Rouen, Maxime Lopez. Fratesi. Bayrami. Fratesi calling for it. Here he is now. Still there for Fratesi. Once again, there was no one in green and black able to latch onto it. Rogerio sends it back in. Headed clear by Kim. Sassuolo are not lying down here. Lorienté. Maxime Lopez. Lorienté, Maxime Lopez. Lovely give and go that. How's the final ball? Maxime Lopez going himself. He's only ever scored 4 goals in Serie A, but 2 of them have come against Napoli. Politano is a tricky winger, but he's never been blessed with searing pace. Martin Ehrlich. Matteo Serricchi. Now it's Lorienté. Rogerio, well held by Meret.
A good piece of play in these last 2 minutes by Sassuolo, that arrived inside the box again and shoot on goal with Rogerio. But again, there were the ball inside the box that nobody followed, you know, as happened in the first half. It's very important. Sassuolo do not have too many chances to arrive there, and it's very important that they use that chance and try to attack the target.
Osimhen once again causing problems with his ability to appear out of nowhere. Andrea Pinamonti is about to come on. Scored 2 goals last season for Empoli in a 3-2 win over Napoli. Politano, Di Lorenzo in support. Politano's ball in, headed clear by Ehrlich. Bayrami has found De Vrel, but Kim got in front of him, and he's found Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia, headed away by Ehrlich. Another velvety control from Kvaratskhelia. Zombonguisa, Lobotka. Napoli so easy on the eye. Victor Osimhen, incidentally, with that goal in the first half, has now moved beyond Keita Balde and Franck Kessié. 42 goals in Serie A. Only 1 African player has scored more. The great George Weah, former Ballon d'Or winner. Politano, he was tripped by Rogerio.
What a play by Politano again. 1 against 1. Napoli tried to isolate the wing in a 1 against 1, and Sassuolo accept that. It's not easy because you have on the side Politano, on the other side you have Kvaratskhelia.
Off goes De Vrel. It is a like-for-like change, and whereas De Vrel is not a traditional centre-forward, Pinamonti certainly does fall into that category. But he comes on with his team trailing by 2-0.
Yeah, we'll wait and see Pinamonti, because he's doing well, but not so well. He didn't score so much, and we are waiting to see if he can repeat the season that he did with Empoli.
He's coming off his best ever Serie A season with Empoli. 13 goals last term. It's what earned him this big money move to replace his former teammate in the Italy youth teams, Gianluca Scamacca. Now Politano comes off. Zielinski on. Massimo, I assume Elmas will change position.
Yes, you said well. I think that Zielinski will take place the position of Elmas inside the pitch, and Elmas, that is like a jolly, you know. He can move all around the pitch. He will play as a wing.
Zielinski keeps up his run of featuring in every single match this season. In it comes from Elmas. Rahmani unable to meet it. Who got the last touch? Kvaratskhelia demanding the ball, as if to suggest it should be a Napoli throw. The referee agrees with him. Two Napoli players have featured in all 30 of their matches. Lobotka is one, Zielinski another. This is Oliveira, and still Osimhen, who got tight enough to make the block. Rahmani watched the ball well, away by Erlich, but Sassuolo are struggling here. This is Oliveira.
But what a play by Napoli. From a throw-in, they're right to shot on goal again. Really, really dangerous, and as I say, they are in the mood. It's impossible to stop them. And when you see football easy like that, it seems that, you know, they are unstoppable.
And who would have thought at the start of the season, when they sold Insigne, Mertens, Koulibaly, Ospina, and yet here we are. Napoli have lost just once in Serie A. That game at Inter, they've lost just once in the Champions League. It didn't cost them. Their one costly defeat came in the Coppa Italia against Cremonese, a team who haven't won a single league match. It's a funny old game, football.
Yes, really, it's really funny, you know. You can't, it's unpredictable. That's the point. It's unpredictable. But maybe you mentioned Koulibaly, Mertens, and Insigne. Maybe the team find the right balance. They distribute, you know, all the responsibility inside the team.
The end of a cycle and the start of another one, which could be a glorious one. Bairami, Zortea, came off Oliveira. An hour gone at the Mapei. Napoli with those two first-half goals from Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen. Zortea. Now it's Fratesi. Shooting chance here, again for Rogerio. This time it was on his weaker side. Loriente collects. Matteo Serricchi, and still, it's an easy save for Meret.
They had a chance to shoot on goal, but he will see Enrique. Too easy for Meret. But now Sassuolo is starting to remain there, you know. But maybe it's Napoli that take a breath.
Zombogisa, he knew where Osimhen was, but decided not to attempt the through ball. Elmas. That was clumsy from Maxime Lopez. Coming back to Matteo Serricchi. Failed to score in his first 39 matches for Sassuolo. He's since scored twice in the next 3, so he's on a bit of a hot streak. Turstved, one of the possible changes for Dionisi to turn to next. Kvaratskhelia, Zielinski. Di Lorenzo. And again. Napoli's next game is again on their travels. This is the first of 3 straight away matches. Zombogisa, Di Lorenzo. Easy enough for Rouen to deal with. But it was a lazy clearance straight to Zombogisa. Elmas now playing right wing. Zombogisa. Oliveira takes over.
When you play so deep and you play very far from the other target, from the opponent target, you know, it's not so easy. You spend a lot of energy and during the match, and it's not so easy to recover, especially when a team like Napoli press very high, do not give you time and space to play the ball.
Zortea, that's a fine ball for Fratesi. Pinamonti can look for Loriente on the far side. Goes via the Rogerio bypass. Loriente. Space to deliver. Should be Meret's ball, and indeed it is. Mimo Berardi, frustrated spectator. So from Reggio Emilia to Frankfurt and then on to Tuscany and a trip to Empoli. That will be game 1002 for Spalletti, the ground where it all began with Empoli back in 1994. He's approaching 29 years as a coach. It's more than 10 years since his last piece of silverware, 2012. Looks like he's finally going to get his hands on Italy's biggest domestic prize. Oliveira. Lobotka was tripped by Maxime Lopez. They might be 2-0 up, but Spalletti's still as demanding as ever.
Yes, he asked it. He said, you are 3 against 1 with Pinamonti. One have to drive the ball. As I say to you, you have to drive the ball in the space and try to have a numbers upper player and make the other teams move, and then you make the pass.
Elmas. Rahmani. It's route 1 towards Osimhen. It's a good ball as well. Osimhen. Should be easy enough for Elic. He is a remarkable outlet. Osimhen put the ball into space, slotted into the channel. More often than not, he will find himself there, ahead of his marker. Oliveira. Flicked on by Zielinski. Osimhen. Almost nutmeg Rouen. In the end, he's penalised for a foul. He doesn't agree. Lorienté away from Di Lorenzo. Now it's Bairami. Held up by Oliveira. Sortea. Right in the challenge, Sortea, good ball in, and the header from Pinamonti skips wide.
Yeah, Pinamonti moved well on the far post. He moved well on the blind side of the defender, and he arrived there on that ball. Maybe just tried to give it too much power and didn't give enough accuracy, but the ball was very close to the post.
Di Lorenzo took a chance there. Meret made to hurry. Almost visions of his mistake against Empoli, with Pinamonti closing him down there. Maxime Lopez can't find Bairami. Difficult one this for Felicio Dionisi. He did say that however well his side played tonight, Napoli might just produce a performance that would make it impossible for them to get anything from the match, and it seems to be the case.
Yes, that's the point, the different quality.
Fratesi's won it back fairly, and he was fouled by Zielinski. It's a yellow card for the Pole, and Sassuolo have a free kick right on the edge of the box.
As we said, one episode can change this match. But anyway, it's Sassuolo that have to try to, to force the situation and have that episode on their way, on their side, pardon.
Fratesi just read it very well. Got in ahead of Zielinski, who was then forced to hack him down. His ungainly attempt to try and wrestle back possession. Goal now from Bairami. Someone else really shakes things up in this match. An anxious-looking group of substitutes. Has scored against Napoli before, Bairami, back in his Empoli days. Bairami goes for goal, and it wasn't coming down in time. Such was the trajectory of that effort. He almost needed to take the free kick from 5 yards further back. Barami, who once backed a brace at the Maradona. It's part of an Empoli side in the cup, and they were still in the second tier. Perfectionist Spalletti. Osimhen. Space for Zielinski. Di Lorenzo joining in. Oliveira again operating centrally. Lobotka. Zombogisa. Di Lorenzo couldn't find a teammate in blue. Fratesi. Loriente too strong for Lobotka. Sassuolo still scrapping away, fighting for territory here, trying to get a foothold in a game that appears to have escaped them from early on. Here's Zombogisa. Now it's Osimhen. He's got Kvaratskhelia in the middle. He went for goal himself.
And now Consiglio were well positioned, but again he arrived on that side. He moved. He preferred that side, you know, because he can shot on goal with his right foot, and he was again the same position that where he scored in the first half.
You're absolutely right. I was about to suggest, Massimo, that his touch was heavy, but given what he produced in the first half, no touch is seemingly too heavy for Osimhen. Napoli have again won it back high up the pitch, a hallmark of this side under Spalletti. Elmas. Lobotka. Zombogisa. Kvaratskhelia finding a pocket of space. Zielinski. Kvaratskhelia with the give and go. Not there to collect it though. Sassuolo figured out what was coming. Lobotka. Now it's Elmas. This is Di Lorenzo. Back came Pinamonti to lend a hand.
But it's impossible now for Sassuolo to you know, come out from this situation, because they are playing very deep, as I said, and Napoli immediately recover the ball when it's coming out from the defense.
Sassuolo's next game sees them go to Salento to take on Lecce before Cremonese, the next visitors here. That was a foul by Ruan on Osimhen, and a painful one when you do get a nudge in the back when you're off your feet. Ruan, 3 soldi, pennies. Osimhen's going to go for a lot more than 3 soldi if they ever sell him. Napoli with another set piece. Elmas takes it. Kim has somehow managed to retrieve it. This is Zombogisa. Oliveira. Kvaratskhelia. Zombogisa winding up for the shot. Narrowly over the top.
The movement of the player inside the box gave him time and space to shoot on goal. That's very important. You know, he will see again Kim that saved that ball. Maybe it was offside. If it was outside, and he will see again. He had the time and space to shoot on goal, just a little bit higher over the bar.
Does have 3 goals this season. Andre Franck Zambangisa. Brace against Torino. And he scored in match day 1 of the Champions League as well. That statement performance against Liverpool, which was a sign of things to come for Napoli. Maxime Lopez swerving inside. Lorienté, it's run for Rogerio, now Fratesi. We've seen him burst into the box before like that, most recently at San Siro. This time it bounced off him, went harmlessly out of play. More changes afoot for Spalletti and the visitors, and Ndombele and Lozano. Does Lozano's introduction mean Kvaratskhelia might be taken off, Massimo?
Yeah, it could be possible. As we said, as we mentioned, Napoli will have a great match next week in Champions League. So I think that Spalletti, now that is more or less the game.
The game is more or less won, but not quite yet. Pinamonti, Lorienté, another goal in this match. The way of Sassuolo keeps it alive. Fratesi trying to guide it towards Pinamonti. Rogerio. Quarter of an hour remaining here in Reggio Emilia for Sassuolo to come up with something. Maxime Lopez. Matteo Serricchi. Zortea. And again. Rogerio. Should be Meret's ball. And he gathers it unchallenged.
Yes, now the match is 2-0 for Napoli. Maybe he changed someone to give him the possibility, the opportunity to recover better.
Emil Said and Torstvedt, the 2 Sassuolo players, stripped and ready to come on. 2 attacking changes as they go in search of a goal to get back in the match. Kim has found Osimhen and continued his progress. Osimhen ran into a cluster of green shirts. Now Kim's out of position. This is Bayrami. Fratesi takes over. Only Lorienté in the middle. Fratesi. Maxime Lopez. Matteo Serricchi. Bayrami. Brilliant block from Kim. Another Sassuolo assault on the Napoli goal. Matteo Serricchi. They've won a corner. We typically don't make defensive changes when there's a set piece. Sassuolo players are ready to go, so too are the Napoli duo. That's why Daniele Baldini, one of Spalletti's coaching staff, is giving some very precise instructions. Zambangisa will get a rest for Ndombele for what remains here. And off comes Kvaratskhelia, the Georgian, George Best.
He did well, fantastic match again by Kvaratskhelia. That didn't finish to surprise, you know, that's very important. He improved a lot during this season.
10 goals and 9 assists now for him in the middle of February. Fabulous debut campaign in Serie A. Bayrami unable to make too much of an impact tonight. Emil Said on for him. In fact, it's a Scandinavian duo. for Sassuolo. The Norwegian pair of Seid and Torstvedt. Lorienté with the corner, headed away by Rahmani. This is Seid's first touch. Seid allowed to shoot! And Meret might not have got there.
Yeah, perfect shot with his weaker foot. And, you know, they leave Lobotka in a 1-against-1. He just tried to leave him the weaker foot. A good shot on the far post. Just wide.
Really encouraging effort that from Emil Seid. Shaping it in towards the far corner and very nearly picking it out to Di Lorenzo from Ndombele. Had the balance, but then trod on the ball. Torstvedt. Lorienté. Running at Di Lorenzo. Lorienté. Pinamonti. It was slightly behind him. And now Lozano. Maxime Lopez has committed foul after foul and yet avoided a yellow card throughout.
Maybe just touched the right foot, Lozano's right foot, just a little bit. It wasn't on purpose, but just enough.
Kim Min-jae, straight to Torstvedt. Pinamonti. Maxime Lopez. Zortea told to get forward. Sassuolo being bold. Seid. Now Fratesi. Forgot to take the ball with him. Another colossal display from Kim Min-jae. Oliveira. Elmas. Risky ball, but a good one. Lobotka. Tripped by Maxime Lopez. How many more fouls can he get away with before he gets caution? There's your answer. None.
But again, Napoli comes out from a very difficult situation and keep the ball. It's a foul of frustration, this one.
Despite the fact that Eintracht Frankfurt are coming up in the Champions League, Osimhen stays on, which makes me think. Now, Zielinski's gone down, holding his ankle. The Napoli bench are really unhappy at the late challenge here. And it's Maxime Lopez with a shove. It's only just been booked. Not worth a yellow card, but should he be doing that having just had his name taken?
He's taking a risk. I don't know, I think that Dionisi thinking about if leave him on the pitch or not.
Talking about leaving a player on the pitch, Osimhen clearly determined to finish the season as top scorer. Kvaratskhelia has been given 10 minutes rest, but Osimhen playing 90 minutes every week. Has Spalletti conceded something to his centre forward there and said, keep playing, keep scoring?
You know, he's very confident, so I don't think that Spalletti want to leave him, because as we can see, now we are 82 and he's still running like that, you know. He's really impressive.
You do start to wonder where we'd be had Osimhen not missed 4 league games through injury as well. Forward by Elic. Pinamonti wins the header.
Ora la respinta, viene centrale, non rimanere aperto, corri in diagonale centrale.
He said you have to run on the diagonal in the center. When the ball arrives on that situation that's come out, you have to come back. Now he's injured. We were talking about him, that he's fit. He's okay. Maybe just a little bit tired because we saw him run so much.
Spalletti calling for the change. wants to make a substitution. Osimhen's evening is going to end on 83 minutes. It's going to end with yet another goal. Scoring in a 7th consecutive match for number 18, all told, in Serie A. Didn't look like there was even space to shoot, let alone score from there. Now they'll be wrapping him up in cotton wool ahead of the game in Germany on Tuesday. Alessio Zerbin about to come on, and with him, Giovanni Simeone. Few looks of concerns here about Osimhen, and his body language is not encouraging, Massimo.
Yes, we were talking about that, and maybe the last 2 or 3 sprints that he made, you know, too much maybe, create some problem. You have just wait and see. There are a lot of days before they have to play the match, but now he changed for sure, and Simeone did very well anyway during this season when he could play, you know, and can play, and it's very important for Napoli too anyway, because Simeone, when he comes in, he is Maxime Lopez that changed.
Agustin Alvarez and Pedro Obiang have both been sent off. Fratesi, the other player, joining Maxime Lopez on the bench for what remains of this. They will make sure that Osimhen gets all of the treatment required to make sure that he's on the team sheet by the time that news breaks next week in Germany. Zerbin now providing the energy. Said. Alvarez nearly came away with it. And Alvarez was caught there. It's an interesting one, Agustin Alvarez. When he needs some advice, he phones up Walter Gargano, a former Napoli player, who's still married to Mishka Hamšík, former Napoli captain's sister. Lobotka, Politano calling for it in space. Lozano again. Lorienté. This time Lobotka got in the way of the ball. Lorienté. Finding Zortea. Said. Did that come off the hand of Zerbin? It did, which is why the Sassuolo players stopped in their tracks.
copri dentro.
Osimhen putting on one of those bibs, and that was a great move from Spalletti at the start of last season. As I said, Scudetto had almost become a taboo word, and yet he took the lyrics of that chant and made them into those warm-up bibs. Sarò con te e tu non devi mollare. I'll be with you and you mustn't give up. Abbiamo un sogno nel cuore. Napoli torna campione, and looks like that dream of Napoli once again being champions is finally going to come about 33 years on after the late Maradona and co-managed it. And just as they sung last week in Fuorigrotta against Cremonese, another chant of E se ne va, la capolista se ne va. The league leaders are surging away in the distance. 18 points now as things stand. Obiang. Rogerio. Lorienté allowed to turn. He's too quick for Zielinski, but there was Simeone helping out defensively. Lorienté, he can't be offside from a throw-in. He's found Torstvedt. That didn't miss by much.
Not so easy with his weaker foot. Just try to find the back post. You see, there were no angle for him. He's just tried. Fantastic finishing by him. Not so powerful, but scared enough for Meret.
We'll keep an eye on how Osimhen moves over the next few minutes, but this could be a problem, Massimo, because On Tuesday, Napoli lost Raspadori in training. We've been talking about their squad depth. On paper, they have Osimhen, who's been playing almost every minute. Raspadori and Simeone haven't had too many opportunities. Raspadori now injured. Osimhen potentially, we mustn't speculate too much, but they would be short-handed if they only had Simeone to choose from just as Europe comes around again.
Yes, but it's happened, you know, they played a lot of matches. They are trying to do the maximum effort to maintain the distances between them and Inter, and you know, could happen that someone could be just a little bit tired, because it's not injury for sure, Osimhen, but just a little bit tired, and Spalletti have to take care about this.
Oliveira couldn't keep it in play. We saw some lovely shots there of those Napoli supporters that have made it here, predominantly from the north of Italy. And they're scattered all over the country. Thankfully, that perhaps draconian sentence to punish all supporters residing in Campania with a ban on away games for several weeks is soon coming to an end after clashes between Napoli and Roma supporters. Sassuolo fans, meantime, still trying to urge their team on towards what would be a consolation at this stage. Obiang straight to Zerbin. Torstved. Alvarez. Lorienté, it's a good ball. Rogerio. Shoulder to shoulder with Lozano. Nothing wrong with that challenge. We move into 4 added minutes, but based on what we've seen tonight from Armand Lorienté, you can understand why Napoli are interested in him.
Yes, he's a good prospect. He was again the run by Lozano. Again, that's very important. But you know, Lorienté, you say, well, he's a good prospect. He's not so young as a player, but anyway, he's mature enough to play in a team like Napoli.
It's a rendition of the greatest hits now. Un giorno all'improvviso. One day, all of a sudden, I fell in love with you. But this love affair has been building over 30 matches now. A fan base which was disaffected, which had fallen out of love with this team after too many disappointments. And yet now, they're on the cusp of something incredible. And much of the credit goes to the man bringing up 1,000 games in the dugout tonight, Luciano Spalletti, and Cristiano Giuntoli too, the sporting director, but above all the players that have performed week in, week out, enacting that game plan, making it a reality, and brushing aside all comers domestically. Lobotka, Zielinski. Oliveira, Simeone, Zerbin. This is Ndombele. There's no foul on him. Torstved under pressure from Oliveira. It's a wild challenge. Now Rouen with some afters for Tanguy Ndombele. It's been a fair game. There's no need for things to spill over in the closing stages. Still Sassuolo come again, trying to spoil the clean sheet at least. Rogerio's ball in. Pinamonti on the half-turn. There was Zielinski to get it clear. Said. Before you go, Massimo, how far can Napoli go in the Champions League this season?
I don't know. No, we have to see this match. Not an easy match for Napoli against Eintracht Frankfurt. But if they pass through this round, it depends, you know, from the draw. And we have just to wait and see. But as I said, Napoli is the 4th power team of Europe. They scored 54 until now, and they are just behind 3 big teams. One of them will go out because, you know, Paris Saint-Germain will play against Bayern Munich. So we have just to wait and see what will happen in the next match.
In theory, the Napoli fans should also wait before celebrating the Scudetto, but you can see there's already some apparel and memorabilia with the number 3 and that Scudetto there. Lozano with the ball in, Simeone to seal it! It is the perfect end to another special night. 3-0 against Cremonese, 3-0 at Sassuolo. And Simeone only sent on to give Osimhen a rest with his weary legs. Scores again, despite his limited playing time. Lovely ball from Lozano. And how about that for a header?
Yes, a perfect ball there on the far post. But Simeone moved very well just behind Erlich. And here we see again the perfect movement on the blind side of the defender, and he received that ball perfectly in his head. Great goal anyway, not easy for him, but you know, this season he did really well when he come out from the bench, and he could score a goal on any time, anywhere to create something and play a great performance like this. You know, it's very important for Spalletti, it's very important for Napoli.
They're just checking as to whether Lozano was the wrong side of the last defender as he latched onto that ball. 3-0 could once again revert to 2-0. Andrea Colombo in discussions with Daniele Doveri. A little further north in Lisone. The goal won't stand, the scoreline remains 2-0. And Simeone is stuck on 8 goals in all competitions for this season.
And nothing changed, Patrick, anyway, with a great cross and a great header. Just, you know, the offside, but nothing changed with the great performance of Napoli tonight.
Interestingly, on that flag that we saw that featured the Scudetto and the number 3, there was a bit of Neapolitan dialect that's basically said, what are we waiting for? Alvarez had been tracking back. Oliveira can clear it, and with that, Napoli can celebrate yet another victory. It's a clean sheet to go along with it. It's the same old pair, Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen, the 2 players on target in the first half. Another comfortable, casual win for the league leaders, and on Friday the 17th, Napoli go 18 points clear overnight. Full-time score at the Mapei, Sassuolo 0, Napoli 2.